go back a little bit to Jesus as bridegroom, leads you to some of the teaching that Jesus gave for the church in the end times. One of the most significant passages is where Jesus taught the parable of the 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins. And this parable centers around, I think probably best to explain it as that it centers around the event of the marriage supper of the Lamb, which is the culmination for the saints as they are united with Jesus finally in the marriage supper, which is foreshadowed by the communion, as I said, that we talked about earlier. There were 10 virgins, and 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And they all went to sleep. But 5 wise had already filled their lamps with oil, and so when the bridegroom was announced in the darkness of the night, they woke up and lit their lamps and were able to proceed to the wedding. The 5 foolish had not filled their lamps, and so when they woke up, they said to the wise, "Won't you lend us some of your oil?" And they said, "Well, no, we can't lend you some of our oil. There may not be enough." And so the foolish virgins went out to buy oil. But when they arrived at the marriage supper of the Lamb, the door was shut and they were refused entry. And the particular point that Jesus is making is that particularly as we come into the end times, we need to have oil in our lamps. You know, I remember as a young person singing that chorus, "Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning till the break of day." And really that is a cry for the Christian as they contemplate the coming of the Lord, is, "Lord, give me oil in my lamp, give me the Holy Spirit." But also there's another aspect to this, is that because Jesus, when he refuses the foolish virgins, says to them, "I never knew you." And this word "know" is significant because the idea of knowing here is an intimate knowing, somewhat similar to the relationship between husband and wife, that the Lord's saying, "I didn't know you intimately." And of course, why didn't he know them and they know him intimately? That's because they had not developed the relationship with him. So we may be crying out to be filled with the Holy Spirit, "Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning." But also the oil has another aspect, and that is the oil of intimacy. That the intimate relationship between a bride and a bridegroom is what the Lord is seeking for us to cultivate to prepare us for the marriage supper of the Lamb. And it's about this that much of the teaching on prayer and so on will be, I will seek to bring teaching on prayer in this context. The desire of the Lord is to know us and for us to know him. Paul prayed and said, "I want to know him, the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings." Now, I'll just hone in on the first statement, "that I may know him." Now, quite honestly, I think with the amount of revelation that Paul poured out in the scriptures, it's very evident that he knew the Lord. And yet he was praying that he might know him. That however much we know the Lord, there is more to know, there is more to understand, there's more to develop in our relationship with him. And so we are calling, and I am calling, and we are calling those Christians who are casual about their relationship with the Lord to consider afresh and realize the eternal rewards that are available to them if they will pursue the Lord, get to know him and get to understand his ways. There's no doubt that the Lord loves us all, and he wants to include all of us in the marriage supper of the Lamb.